It's day 6 in Dallas. We are currently up $7,283. Not a bad start to the trip. Let's keep it going.
We're gonna head to the card room soon, but we need to fuel for the rest of the day. Something I've been trying to do lately is just eat relatively healthy every day before my sessions. Today we were just ripping the ground beef and avocado, because apparently that's what all the cool kids are doing. But you gotta have the sparkling water, of course. And also, I'm a YouTube eater, so shout out BDGE for keeping me entertained. Little watermelon too, and that's what I call a meal. We are ready to go. Next, I need to implement some exercise and get outside for a bit, just in general. But we'll work on that, one thing at a time.
So I know I skipped a few days. I posted day 1 and 2 on my YouTube channel, but here's the results of the other days that I missed. I didn't post those videos just because I wanted to get this new style out there quicker. I think you guys are gonna like this video. Enjoy. All right, pretty much ready to go play. We're just gonna hop into the 2-5 a little bit earlier today, but dude, you know what? I've been wanting to try one of these. I got one of these when I ordered my groceries. It's called Magic Mind. Apparently it's supposed to do good things, so. I don't know. I'll let you know if I feel magical.
Back him in and go out alone, black. Stay in the zone, turn H2O to cognac. On doomsday, ever since the womb till I'm back where my brother went, that's what my tumor say. Right above my.
All right, we've arrived at the TCH Social. Playing 2-5, got on the list. We are good to go. Feeling good about today. We came here pretty early today. I'm not gonna lie, 2:30. So yeah, we'll just see. I don't really have any expectations on how long the session will go. Just gonna play until I feel good or until the game's bad. And yeah, looks like there's like 4 tables running right now, so not bad on a Tuesday afternoon. Let's try to play good today. I got a good feeling about today. Let's go.
I'm excited to play today. This place is awesome because there's always tables running. It's just a matter of if the action is running or not here. But we get on the list and we play a little bit of online while we wait, because I'm a degenerate. But it's not too long. We get into the 2-5 for a max of $1,500.
All right, mid-session update. We are down $1,000. I'll go over this hand because that's why we're down. 2-5-10, the $10 straddle is on. And the early position player makes it $30. The middle position player calls. I'm in the hijack with queens, and I 3-bet to $125. The player in the cutoff now puts in the good old cold 4-bet. And yeah, it folds around to me. My calling range is very, very snug here. Not going to be calling speculative, like suited Broadway's out of position here. But I call. Flop comes 10-8-7 rainbow, and I check. He puts out a c-bet for 150, and there's no need to check raise this one, right? He just has like aces, kings. We call turn 5, offsuit 5. I think it brings 1 flush draw. I check, and he checks back, and this is a really, really, really good sign for us. Typically, live players won't like barrel off ace king as much as they should in these spots. He checks river 4 of hearts, and now I think we have a value bet to get called by pocket jacks, even ace high sometimes. Just a small size though, a blocker bet, because then we don't lose a bunch if he does have aces or kings. If he's not betting this turn, he's probably not going to raise river for value like he probably should. So I bet 350, and we pretty quickly get called. We show queens and we lose to kings. So, unfortunate spot, but we pretty much lost the minimum there. Game's fun, nothing crazy today, but we're going to get back in there and see what we can do.
All right, we get back in the mix. The game is somewhat slow for us today, so I order coffee to try to speed things up. No, just kidding. We're just, the pots just aren't really that big when we have a hand, and it's just a very standard 2-5 game, I would say. But there's a few spots that we found here, and we'll go over those right now.
Okay, so 2-5-10, the straddle's on. I open under the gun with ace of diamonds, jack of diamonds. Good reg in middle position. Calls. Another good reg in the big blind, decides to 3-bet to 150. Ace jack suited here. It's like bottom of calling range here. It's going to be pretty snug, but I stick in the call, and the other player folds, so we're heads up in position to 10-9-5, rainbow with a diamond. And I'm pretty relieved when he checks. We don't really want to stop this one because we have so much backdoor equity. 2 overcards, backdoor flush, backdoor straight draw. So he checks, so I check it back. Turn is the queen of clubs, and now we turn an open-ended straight draw. King would give us the nuts, and 8 would give us the second nuts. So pretty good spot here. He bets out for 150, half pot, seems good. Don't really think raising is the best play here. We don't really want to get shoved on with our equity. We call. River, king of clubs. Great, we river the nut straight, does bring in the flush. Yeah, we just go broke here. He checks, and now we just bet for value, and we have to call off a shove just because he has like 3 combos of flushes here. Pretty easy spot, just bet for value. I bet 450, and he shows me the ace of clubs and folds. He He says if I had more chips back, he would have thought about doing something fancy. So I was kind of hoping he had like ace king or ace queen off with the ace of clubs, maybe with like check shove. It's also pretty easy to find bluffs from him. Yep. Okay, and then here's another one that I think I just made a mistake on. 2-5-10 again. I opened cutoff with ace 4 of hearts to $30. The button 3 bets me to $80, and then we get a cold call in the big blind for 80. Both the players are like 1,000 deep or so. This is a really good spot to 4-bet bluff because of the cold caller, right? Because of the dead money. But I think typically in live games, it might not be the best move unless you're super deep and I can make it like 400 here. Because they're shallow, I don't love the 4-bet in hindsight. In game, I did go for a 4-bet here. Obviously, we have the right hand. It's the right spot. I don't think the stack depths are deep enough in this spot. I'm at a 250 just so if somebody shoved, I didn't want to make it like 400 or 350 because then it felt like we're almost like not pot committed, but I just wanted to make it small and fold out stuff like king queen off and whatever. They both end up calling the 250, which is bad. Yeah, the flop came ace high and checked to the button. He bet 400 and I just folded. 4-bet pots are way too tight for me to continue there with a bad ace. And yeah, session's going. We're just going to keep chugging along.
Well, the truth is we couldn't do much. Nah, just kidding, kind of. I don't know. It was no other hand histories from this session. It was just kind of bland. But that's okay. It'll happen. We end up just packing it up and heading home. I don't want to say early because we played for 7 hours, but yeah, it was only 10 p.m. We probably could have stayed, but just decided to pack it up and call it a night.
Okay, so we officially ended the session. We were into the game for 2,500 and we were out for 2,300. Yeah, after being stuck about 1,000 from that queen's hand pretty much early on, we just kind of grinded back. Tomorrow we're going to be back on the grind. I think I'm going to try to get outside tomorrow. I think I'm practicing some healthy habits. I feel like I'm eating well and sleeping well, and now I think I need to add on top of that some outdoor activity. So I might go for a little stroll tomorrow and implement that into my routine. We're gonna do that tomorrow, and I'll see you then. So we got outside and went for a walk today, which was nice. A little fresh air, a little movement. I was listening to a poker podcast as well, so kind of locked in right now. Now we just get ready for the grind, eat something, we're out the door, let's go.
Got a nice clear head, and I'm ready to see what Wednesday night has in store for us. We're not going to make this a cooking channel, I promise, but I ripped the chicken and rice today. This is my favorite hat, too, probably. I wear it 90% of the time, if you haven't noticed. I think it helps me run better, but I'm not sure. We head out the door, and we make our way to the card room.
Outside the card room, ready to rock and roll here. Feeling good today. Dude, something about the drive to the card room, just blasting some tunes, in the zone. I feel like we're gonna play a big pot today. Like a big pot. Let's run good. Let's go.
This is probably the last time I'll be in Dallas for a while. Once I turn 21, I'm gonna have a lot less incentive to travel to play poker. Well, yes, I love Dallas poker. I got a lot of other spots that I want to try. I'm going to enjoy it while I'm here, though, because this place is pretty awesome. I'm into the 2-5 for 1,500 per usual, and we do get started. We play a huge pot early on. Remember how I said we were going to play a big one? Well, it's a 3-way all-in bomb pot. And do you notice how the dealer isn't pushing the chips back my way? Yeah, that's because we got scooped by 2 other players. Not ideal for us, but we end up topping up for an additional 1,300, and then we start playing some hands.
A little over 2.5 hours in, we got some updates to give you. So, we are under the gun with pocket eights. Playing 2-5-10. I opened to $30. And to my direct left is my friend Zach. Great player, good reg. He 3-bets to 105. And folds back to me. Pocket eights here, makes a relatively pretty good call. We are looking like 1.5k deep. So we're like pretty deep, and eights is going to be good here as a call. We call. Flop comes queen, 3 deuce rainbow. I check. He bets for $50, and I just check call. Turn is a 5, so I check. And like I would expect him to barrel heavily here, he's going to have a lot of ace jack, ace king, jack 10, ace 10 suited, ace 5 suited stuff in his 3-bet range. That's going to be plenty of bluffs here, and a good player like him is definitely going to have those air balls on the turn. He bets for 300, and for those reasons, we have a pair. Like, we're going to call here with any queen. We're going to call here with jacks, 10s, 9s, 8s. We just check call turn and then look to evaluate the river. But I call 300 on the turn. River, 7. So, like, really good runoff for our hand without improving. We check and are relieved to see him check back. I don't think that we're going to lose this pot very often. It'll only ever be like queen jack suited, but he checks and I show and we win. So first decent win of the day. We're sitting down about 1,300 right now. But like I said, we've only been playing for 2.5 hours, so we're going to get back in the mix.
We are grinding tonight. It's one of those sessions where you're in the hole early and you're trying to climb out the whole time. The table was super fun tonight though, met some really cool people. We played a lot of interesting pots, we ended the session late, and now it's time to go over some hands.
Okay, so we just wrapped up our session. As you can tell by the timestamp, it's quite a bit later than the last update. So we have, not gonna lie, we have quite a bit of stuff to go through. The first thing we're going to go over, we have 8-7 of diamonds in the big blind. The under the gun player makes it $20, and the player in late position calls. We're super deep. We're 1.5k deep in this hand, and that's like 300 big blinds, right? Because there was no straddle, $5 big blind. A hand like 8-7 suited becomes a really good 3-bet when you're this deep. I make it $140, which seems reasonable. And both players call. So out of position, 3-bet pot, 8-7 of diamonds. Not the most ideal scenario here. See what happens, see what the flop brings in. The flop comes 10-4-4, rainbow with a diamond. Not great. When I'm out of position to 2 players, I decide to start with a check. And it actually checks around here, so we're going to get to see a free turn. There's a lot of turns that could help us out, give us equity. The turn does give us some equity. It's the king of diamonds. Not only does it give us equity, it's not bad for our range. We can represent ace king and king queen relatively well here. We can still have aces, kings, so we have lots of value here. I bet out for 250. I think it's going to fold out so many hands, like basically everything that's not a king. Like pocket nines can't call, pocket jacks is just like, what do I do here? Bunch of hands that's not a king just fold, which is great for us. The under the gun player folds, which is a great start, but the late position player decides to stick around. A little bit sticky here. So we're looking for a diamond on the river, and that's pretty much it. I don't think we're going to barrel this just because this range is very, very top pair heavy here. But river, 10 of diamonds. So quite the interesting river card. Double pairs the board, but gives us a flush. And yes, the opponent can have boats. I think block bet on the river is good here because if he shoves, then I think it's not likely going to be a bluff. He's only about 1k deep, so I would think in hindsight that a block bet of like 10% or 20% pot max here really gets it done, gets looked up by king, queen, and king, jack with a crying call. I think that's the play here. Because if I check and he jams, then I just hate my life with my flush, right? I probably just fold anyway, but still. Just because the ranges are so condensed in this spot. I bet 300. In hindsight, I wish I would have done something in the realm of 150 to 200. But he, thinks about it for a little while before shoving all in for 1K. And I just stick with my plan of folding. I think he's going to have a boat or a flush here quite often. Like, I think he can jam ace jack of diamonds for value here. And, of course, he can have a bit of 10x, just a little bit. So I just give him credit here and fold. He could have bluffed me, but I think his only bluff in this spot is going to be queen jack suited, which is an open-ender on the turn. I don't think he's going to be turning a hand like king jack into a bluff, which it is possible. I've seen players do that before, but I don't think that's happening. At this point, I'm into the game for 4,300. So it's pretty rough day. And then we play this pot. So the tables really just kind of got good. At this point, the table started getting better. Everyone starts straddling. There's some action. And we play another pretty big pot here. The hijack limps, and I have 10-9 offsuit on the button. I decide to ISO here to 50. I know it's kind of light, but the hijack is recreational-ish player. So I make it 50 here, and the straddle puts in the call, and the hijack puts in the call. 3 ways in position here to ace jack 7 with 2 diamonds, and it checks to me. I have a gut shot, and we can represent lots of strong hands on this board. I bet for $50, and only the straddle calls. Turn now is the king of spades. It improves us to a double gutter. Any queen or 8 would give us a straight. Relatively good card for us to barrel on. He checks. And I put out a bet of $200, looking to get a fold now, or if he calls, hit the river and win a big one. He does call. So now we're just praying to hit something. Like, the session's been going somewhat bad for us and could be a turnaround point. The river, 8 of spades. We river the second nuts. We lose to queen 10, but if he has queen 10, then we just pack it up and, say, nice hand, sir. What I didn't expect is him to lead into us. He bets 200. So I have about $1,000 left in my stack, and with the straight, it's very, very basic poker here.
I just shove all in and hope to get called. He thinks about it for a little while, and he does stick in the call. We show him the goodies, and yeah, he mucks. We win a relatively large pot when we needed it. Honestly, this table was super fun, and I could probably go over like 10 hands. There was a guy who showed up. I didn't get his name. I'm really bad at getting people's names, but he showed up, and he checked out my YouTube channel and was like trying to make the vlog, but we just played a bunch of like medium-sized pots, so not necessarily going to go over any of those. We played like he was battling with me. If you're watching this video, shout out to you. The last hand I'm going to review, I'm in the straddle with Ace King of clubs. The early position player raises to $30, and then we get the button player to call. We have Ace King of clubs. We're going to 3-bet. I make it 160, and only the early position player calls. The flop now comes 8-4 deuce rainbow with a club. And yeah, we're just going to have all the best hands here. Obviously, he can have some strong hands like queens, jacks, and even aces, but we have all of those at full frequency. So, and if we turn equity, then we can really go nuts. But I bet 200 on the flop, and he puts in the call. Turn 10 of clubs. Great card. We improve to a flush draw, 2 overs. Even against a hand like pocket jacks or pocket queens, we have so much equity here. And I was deciding on what to do in game. I could bet small, I could check, or I could jam. I think all 3 options are totally fine. I really just like being aggressive in these spots with my super like high equity hand. Like he's gonna have 10s sometimes, but even against 10s, like we have, you know, the flush draw outs. I think just dunking it in is fine. Getting him to fold ace king is a huge win. Getting him to fold pocket 9s or pocket jacks is a huge win. We jam, and he does make us sweat. We're sweating this one a little bit, but he eventually folds. And yeah, another decent, nice pot coming our way. Just the session as a whole, we actually won quite a bit of money in the last few bomb pots, which is nice. So we ended the game. We were in for 4,300. We were out for 3,970. So huge comeback. I mean, at one point we were down 3K, and we only ended up losing, you know, $330 or something like that. So in the next video, I'm going to go over all my expenses for the trip and how my like total poker net loss or profit. We'll do that tomorrow. I'll see you then.